my grandmother. She's 87 years old and she lives in sunny California. And she goes for 2 walks a day for exercise. She meets her friends for afternoon tea and they play mahjong. Do you know mahjong? Chinese gin rummy. They watch kung fu soap operas together. She goes to church twice a week and she lives a really vibrant life. Do you want to know her secret? Well, she has 2. The first is that she laughs 3 times per day. Hearty, big, from the belly laughs. And her real secret is a woman named Mrs. Sun. Mrs. Sun is her caregiver, and she comes to my grandmother's home twice a week and helps her with chores and things that she can no longer do on her own. Before my grandfather passed away after his stroke, Mrs. Sun came and spent days and nights with my grandparents, making sure that he had the care that he needed. She is, just like her name, warm and reliable, and has always been there for my family. My grandmother taught me most of the things in life that really matter. Well, she potty trained me, and that was useful. It continues to be useful. And she also taught me my values. She taught me, and she always used to say that caring is life's greatest gift, and that we should always appreciate the people in our lives who take care of us. So in honor of my grandmother, tomorrow is her birthday, as a matter of fact. In honor of my grandmother, I'd like us to just take a second and bring into our minds and bring into this room the people in our lives who've taken care of us and the value of that relationship in our lives, just for a minute. So in honor of my grandmother and Mrs. Sun, let's give a round of applause to all the people in our lives who've taken care of us. Like nannies, housekeepers, and caregivers across the country, Mrs. Sun contributes so much to my family, to my grandparents' lives, to our life, to her community, to the country and the economy. And still, domestic workers work for mostly poverty wages when they get paid at all, without labor protections, without benefits. And that's why, in fact, we live in a country where the people that we count on to take care of us and who do take care of us are not cared for in return. So it'll be no surprise to you that as being my grandmother's daughter, I work for an organization of Mrs. Sun's called the National Domestic Workers Alliance. We bring women together who do this work that makes all of the work possible, and we make sure that they have dignity and respect on the job, that the work that they do receives the respect that it so deserves. Women like Marlene Champion. Marlene is a nanny and caregiver in New York City, and she's seen it all. She's had wonderful employers who she's kept in touch with for 20 years, and she's also had employers who have asked her to clean the floors with a toothbrush on her hands and knees and have forgotten to pay her for months on end. And that is why Marlene helped us win a domestic workers' Bill of Rights in New York State, the first state in the country to pass basic protections for domestic workers. Happened because of women like Marlene. And just 3 years later, there are now measures like that pending in 5 additional states: Massachusetts, Illinois, Oregon, Hawaii, and California. So we're making progress. We are. But a few years ago, women like Marlene and a lot of other caregivers and nannies and housekeepers started asking for training in elder care. And it was such a pattern that we realized that we were seeing the rumblings of a tremendous shift that's happening in our country, the age wave. Today in America, people live longer, and the baby boom generation is starting to reach retirement age. So we have a situation where every 8 seconds, someone turns 65 in America. 10,000 people per day, 4 million people per year turn 65 in America. Some call it the silver tsunami. Whatever you call it, it has arrived. And it's not the only change that we're undergoing. Many of you know that we are changing racially as well, that we are projected to, by the year 2040, be a majority-minority nation. Well, if you consider women a minority, we've been a majority-minority nation for a long time. But this change is clearly having an impact on politics. Take Ohio, for example. Today, Ohio is about 83% white, 12.4% African American, and 5% immigrant, including Latino. This is a map of Ohio in the year 2000. The counties in orange represent counties where 22 to 25% of the population is over the age of 60. This is Ohio in 2010. The red counties are counties where 25 to 35% of the population in those counties is over the age of 60. This is a glimpse into the future of our country. By the year 2020, this is what Ohio will look like. And the truth is, many of us are already feeling the changes. Many of us know somebody who was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's or had a heart attack, or maybe we just know somebody who should really no longer be driving or using a stove on their own without support. The need for care and support is great, and it's growing, and we're all feeling it. We can't manage it, we can't afford it. Maybe the person we want to hire is undocumented or untrained. From all perspectives and all experiences, it's not working. And whether we're care providers like Mrs. Sun and Marlene, or we're family members, we're mostly grappling, we're struggling, we're all struggling, and we're mostly struggling with it in isolation. That is why we started talking to lots of different organizations around the country, women's organizations, civil rights organizations, immigrant organizations, consumer groups, Alzheimer's associations, all kinds of organizations. And what we realized is that there's a tremendous opportunity here to create a win-win solution that brings together the interests of people who need care supports and services and those who provide it, to actually create a more caring economy that works for all of us. Build a country based on this notion that care is an American value. Our campaign is called Caring Across Generations, and it's based on this simple notion that we have a shared destiny, and that we should be a country that takes care of each other across generations, and that we have common values that are about care, support, and services across generations. So we're working in 17 cities with over 200 organizations and coalitions around the country to build this movement and to win real-time, real-life solutions. And we're going to be creating 2 million new jobs in home care over the course of the next 10 years with real pathways to training and career advancement, pathway to citizenship for the immigrant care workforce. And we're going to be working to make care more affordable and accessible to every single family and individual who needs it. The truth is, the country is changing right before our eyes. And this moment of change is a tremendous opportunity for us to shape the future together in a way that truly includes all of us. From the senior in Ohio to from the white senior in Ohio to the immigrant domestic worker in New York City, to the LGBT young person in Arizona, to the college student in Middlebury, to the African American veteran in Virginia. We should be building a vision for the future of this country together that has a place and inclusive of all of us. And what's at stake if we don't do that? Well, we run the risk of increasing polarization along lines of race and generation. And we've seen some of that political gridlock already playing out. And all of the issues that we care about are at stake here. There's a lot at stake here. So we have to find a way to come together, and we can't do it alone. And that is why we're building this movement based on these values, because we know that we come together around values, especially the values that remind us and bring out the best in who we are. Values like respect, opportunity, democracy, care, dare I say love, the stuff that our grandmothers taught us. And we're building this movement based on this notion that we can be powered by the power of story and relationships. When we hear one another's stories, we're able to connect beyond and across vast differences in actual experience and build real human relationships that are the anchor and powerful movements for change. And that is what we're doing. This is a moment of change and opportunity for all of us to come together and shape the future of the country, the economy, and our relationships in a way that better reflects our values, a more caring America for all of us. And it begins right here with all of us as we decide, as we consider whether we can call our parents and our grandparents more, as we can consider whether we can do one step better by our caregivers or look in on our neighbors more. A caring America is within reach. It's all within reach. And we believe that you can see the seeds of it everywhere, all around us, right here in this room, and even within our own families. Thank you.